What's going on, everyone? It is NOS Cards here. I am Nick, and this is going to be part 2 of my collection video. I ended up splitting it into 2 parts if you haven't seen the first part, because the video is super long, and I didn't want you guys to have to listen to me for 50 minutes in a row just talking and blabbing about why I like this card over the next and what it means to me. I want you guys to definitely enjoy the video, but I just figured 50 minutes was a bit too much, so I did split it up into 2 parts. So the second part is going to be some of my vintage stuff and some of the stuff from XY Evolutions, as well as the graded cards that I had talked about at the very beginning of last video. 2 cards from PSA, and then a special surprise that I think you guys will enjoy. So before we continue on, as always, please hit that like and subscribe button below, and we will be on our way. This next half is going to be pretty awesome in my opinion. So with that being said, the next card is a Japanese promo card. You can tell it's a promo card if you haven't seen Japanese cards, because it says promo in the bottom left corner. So this is Red. He is the original character in Pokemon. Ash Ketchum from the series is based off of him. This card is Red. It's Pikachu. It's just a really cool promo card. On the back, here's the Japanese cards, what they look like. If you look close enough, in each bubble is the type of energy. So you have like your fighting, you have lightning, leaf, fire, water, you name it, all of the energies. And it's just a really cool card. Obviously, you can only get it through Japanese products, or if you happen to live in Japan. So I was very fortunate to be able to pick this card up. I think it's really cool. Again, another one I'm probably going to grade just because of the popularity of it and just the way it looks. Next, we have the amazing rare cards from not only Vivid Voltage, but from the set after the fact. So let me just gather them all real fast here and go through them all. Starting with my favorite amazing rare is this Rayquaza. Again, this one's from Vivid Voltage. It's one of the best ones you can pick up from Vivid Voltage. There's 6 amazing rares in Vivid Voltage, and I think I have like 3 or 4 of them, but this is definitely the most valuable one. Amazing rares are cool. Again, I love the artwork behind it. It's like a Jackson Pollock almost, or just like somebody just threw a bunch of paint on the wall and let it stick. So that's why I think they're cool. So here's Rayquaza. Jirachi is another one from Vivid Voltage. It's probably right up there with Rayquaza in terms of the most valuable one. Right now, they're maybe like 25 or 30 bucks for these two each. But I think in the future, because of how cool these cards look, that they're going to probably shoot up. Zamazenta is another one from Vivid Voltage. Not as popular as the other two, but still a cool card. Same thing with Zacian. Not really much more to add. Pretty much the counterpart of Zamazenta, but cool, amazing rare card nonetheless. Raikou is the 5th card from Vivid Voltage, and so that means I'm only really missing one. And same thing, he's a legendary dog. He's very popular as well, and again, just a really cool card. Here we got Reshiram from Shining Fates, as well as a Vettel and the 2 Kyogres. You guys have seen these being pulled. Again, amazing rares are from only these 2 sets. They may not be super valuable right now, but I think they're one of those cards in the future that is just going to take off. So there you guys go. The next thing we're going to look at are some of the very first cards that I have pulled, as well as some original cards. So I hope you guys are excited for it. So this Venusaur EX was one of the very first cards I pulled back in November. It's from XY Evolutions. Not necessarily, again, that valuable, but because it was the very first, I guess, hit, you would call it, that I got, kind of special to me. So that's why it is in my collection. Right behind it is another Venusaur. I try to keep them together. This is the full art Venusaur from XY Evolutions that we pulled in Indy. Just a cool looking card all the way around. All the full arts from the original starter evolutions are awesome in my opinion, whether it's the Blastoise, Venusaur, or Charizard. So this thing is fairly well centered. I'll probably end up getting it graded as well, but just a cool card overall. Next we have a Blastoise. This is actually a cracked ice Blastoise from the same set from earlier. The only reason why he is right here is because he's with another Blastoise, and again, it's just a cool looking card. I like the cracked ice look, and since it's Blastoise, it's a little bit more valuable than those other ones. Next, we have a Blastoise VMAX card. This thing looks super sick. It's a promo card. If you're a fan of Blastoise, like most people are, this card is very popular just because it took forever to come out through the special Blastoise VMAX box. And just the artwork on it's really cool, and who doesn't like a Blastoise with more cannons? So just overall really, really cool card. And since he's an original starter evolution, he's a lot more popular. So the next part of my collection, guys, is Charizards, strictly Charizards. Doesn't matter how valuable they are, but I figured I would just go through all the Charizards that I have collected since November. I know a lot of people who have a lot more Charizards than I do, and I know people who have not as many, but I have a Charizard collection because he's still popular and one of the top Pokemon cards you can collect, so we're just going to go straight through it. So this Charizard is from the Pokemon movie, Detective Pikachu. That's why it looks kind of more realistic. Again, not necessarily that valuable, but it's a holographic Charizard, and who doesn't like a holographic Charizard? Next, we have 3 Charizard GXs that are promo cards from Hidden Fates. They're just really cool. Still thinking about giving them away. I don't mind. I have 3 of them, as you guys can see. I don't really think I need 3, but he's still a Charizard and still part of the Charizard collection, so there you guys go. This Charizard GX is one of the very first Pokemon cards that I was able to open up, and so that's why he's also in here. Again, value's not necessarily that great, maybe $5 or $10, but it's Charizard and he's a cool Pokemon, which explains why his cards are usually a lot more valuable than others, but that's why he's in here. Next, we have a Charizard that's cracked ice as well, like that Blastoise, and it is just a really cool card. Same thing, the reason why I wasn't with the others is because I would like to keep my Charizards together like my Blastoise. So just a cool card. I like the artwork on it. I liked it so much that I actually got this Japanese version before I was able to get that cracked ice version. I like Japanese cards. They're a lot. They seem a little bit more pristine, a little bit nicer compared to the English counterpart, and I just think they're really cool. Can't really see the back of it because that's a Meltan sleeve, but it's just a really cool card. The centering on it's pretty darn near perfect, and there's practically 0 to little whiting on the back of it. So if you guys like Charizard, you can pick this guy up for probably about $15. So I think I would. I mean, I already did, obviously, but definitely a cool card in my opinion. Next, we have a Charizard EX from XY. Again, just another Charizard card, nothing too special. It's not a full art or anything, but if you like Charizards like a lot of people do, not a bad card to have in your collection. Next, we have a Mega Charizard EX, again from XY Evolutions, and there's actually 2 cards. There is this one, and there is a full art version with a little bit more gold to it. That's the only difference. This one is numbered 13, and this one is numbered at 107 out of 106. So that's pretty much the main difference from these 2 cards. Next, we have this guy. You guys have never seen it because I've never been on video ripping it open, but this is the Charizard VMAX. This guy goes for around $100, and this is from Darkness Ablaze. This is the very first VMAX Charizard card, followed up by the hyper rare rainbow version of this, which is the exact same thing, just a rainbow, which we have today. It's graded, and we also are still looking for the shiny version of it, as you guys well know. So this card is really, really valuable. It's sick. Getting it graded as well, again, once everything kind of slows down, and it's just one of those cards that it's the chase card for Darkness Ablaze. So I was very fortunate enough to be able to get it. Again, gonna grade it as soon as things calm down, but just an overall cool looking card. And then you guys have seen this one. This is the recent Charizard pull from XY Evolutions. Still looking for the holographic version from XY, but the reverse holo is the next best thing, and I was super stoked when we pulled this guy. Another one we're going to get graded, but just kind of waiting. Now we are going through some XY Evolutions cards that, there's only 2 of them, but they're reprints from the original series. Here's this Raichu from XY Evolutions. It's the exact same artwork from the original base set. It's just cool, just because it's a replica essentially. And same thing with the Zapdos, same exact thing from XY Evolutions. It's a reprint from the original set. It's cool. The holographic design is cool. I think they're awesome, and so that's why they are in this collection. Now, speaking of original sets, what we're going to get into next is cards that are strictly from base set, Fossil, Team Rocket packs, you name it. I started grabbing these. I couldn't even tell you when, but these are the original cards. Some of these are first edition, some of them are not, but just first edition holographics. This is a Victory Bell from the first edition Fossil packs way back when, and so I was able to acquire this. Somebody was looking to get rid of it, and I figured, why not? It's always nice to have something that is as old as this when the cards originally came out. So we have a first edition Victory Bell from Fossil. Next, we have an unlimited Mewtwo from the base set. It's a lot of people's favorite cards because Mewtwo was the baddest legendary from the get-go. He was the guy that you would always try to go after in the games. He's a very popular card. So we have an unlimited version of this guy. Just a really cool card. It's, again, from the base set from the 90s. So I was very happy when I was able to grab this. Next, we have an Alakazam, another favorite from that set. Again, it's an unlimited version, but still from the base set. It's a holographic and just a really cool card. It definitely takes me back when I used to own one when I was a kid. So definitely happy to have another one in my set. Next, we have a Kangaskhan. It's a holographic from the Jungle series. Definitely a very popular card, and when I mean popular, it was very easily accessible just because he was one of the mini holographic cards that you would be able to get. There was a lot of these, so I didn't have a hard time finding him, but figured why not add another holographic from one of the original sets to the collection. This guy, Machamp, pretty much everybody and their grandmother had this card when they were growing up because there was actually a deck that featured him in it, so he was very mass produced. This one, I believe, the whiting and stuff on it's not amazing, but it's not bad either. The reason why this card is interesting, if you look at this first edition label, I actually might be able to do a comparison real fast. So if you look at this Victory Bell, you see that first edition label, and it's very dark. It's very like a dark, deep black, right? With this Machamp, it looks more grayish, and it's known as a gray stamp Pokemon. Gray stamps are a little bit more valuable because you don't really see gray stamps that often. The printing machine that they use is just running out of ink, and so there is a good set of cards that have a gray stamp. So there's gray stamp collectors out there, and gray stamps are a lot more valuable than just a normal first edition holographic. So I was able to find this guy and was super happy when he came in, just because of that gray stamp. Next is one of my favorite cards, period. It's a Rocket's Moltres. It's from the Team Rocket packs. It's not first edition, but it's in really, really good condition. It's one of the cards you want from the Rocket series, and just having a Rocket's Moltres holographic in general is definitely a cool thing to have. Just a really, really cool OG card. Speaking of OG cards, we have the OG Blastoise. This is not a first edition, it's not a shadowless. It's an unlimited version of Blastoise. Holographic, pretty decent condition. This thing will probably go for about like 80 or 90 bucks at the moment. Depending on what it gets graded as, it could jump up significantly, but I just wanted one. I'm still trying to get the other two with Charizard and with Venusaur, but this is one of the original Blastoise cards from the base set. The next three cards are the legendary birds from the Fossil, their first edition. All three of them. Two of them are kind of like lightly played, and the last one is near mint. So this first edition Zapdos is really right there. Don't mind the scratches, that's on the case, not the card itself. This card is just really cool. Again, it's been kind of played. You can kind of see the whiting and stuff on it. I would actually say it's probably actually heavily played, but I just wanted it because it was a first edition. It was holographic. I didn't care what the condition was. It just kind of took me back to when I was a little kid. So I thought it was really cool, and I figured that I may as well complete the set. This Moltres, same thing, first edition from the Fossil series, holographic. This thing is actually in a lot better condition than that Zapdos. I'd show you the back, but it doesn't have a clear sleeve over it. But just another really, really cool card. Again, it's one of the first from the Fossil set, which was released back in the 90s and early 2000s, mainly 90s. So cool card to have. And then the near mint is an Articuno. This thing is practically perfect. I'll probably end up getting it graded, but it's first edition as well. The holographic pattern on it's good. Centering is good. There's no whiting on the back, and there's not really any print lines or anything on it either. So I'm thinking this one might be a 9 or a 10, but definitely a very valuable card to have in the collection. The next thing we're going to look at, and it's the very last thing, is 3 graded cards. One of them I already know because I was able to acquire it, and it's the very last thing that we're going to see. But the other 2, I have no idea what they are. Here we have a Pikachu VMAX rainbow card, and right below it is the Charizard. I do not know what these are graded at. I don't know if they are a 10 or a 9 or an 8 or a 7 or a 1. I don't think they'll be a 1. But with that being said, when I sent these in, I thought they both were probably around a 9. So we're going to find out right now. Wish us luck. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to take that sticky note off. I submit my cards through Mark's Cards, and they do a phenomenal job. So shout out to them. And we are going to take a look at our first one. I think out of the 2, I think they both possibly could be 10s, but I never get my hopes up just because I don't know how harshly they're going to be graded. But I do think out of the 2 that the Charizard was more likely to be a 10, but we're going to find out. So, with further ado, I believe this is the Pikachu. It is the Pikachu. And this Pikachu is a 9. Okay, so pretty much what I thought it was going to be. So here's the Pikachu VMAX. It was one of the very first hyper rares that we pulled, and I figured that this was going to be a 9, mainly because the centering on this is kind of off. If you guys can see, there's more border on the right than the left, but this thing is a pretty sick card. So not bad. I will definitely take it. It's what I thought. I didn't think it was going to be a 10 just because of that border, but you never know. So that's probably my guess on why it got dinged. On the back, it looks pretty good. I mean, there's no whiting or anything, nothing. All the edges and stuff are good. It's just really the centering. So we have a PSA 9 for this Vivid Voltage Pikachu VMAX. The last card, or the only other card from PSA, is this Charizard, and I think it's a 9 as well, but it has the possibility of being a 10, so let's see what we got. And it also is a 9, so that's 2 9s for these cards. I was kind of hoping that this Charizard VMAX is going to be a 10, but hey, you know what? I'll take a 9. These cards, you know, I was super excited to pull them, and I'm glad that they came back the way that they did. A little disappointed that neither one was a 10, but I'll take what I can get. I'm assuming this Charizard, because the centering on this was really, really good. I'm assuming the reason why this Charizard got dinged is because there's a little whiting, there's a little nick at that top left portion right there. And you have another one at the bottom right. And it looks like possibly the left too. So there you guys have it. This is my first time seeing these. I waited a long time to get them back, and they're both 9s. So there you guys go. Now finally, again, I already know what this card is, but I wanted to show you guys anyway. It is by far the most valuable card I believe I have, and it is a Beckett graded card. This card I've been trying to pull for a long time, but instead of pulling it, I decided, you know what, I think I'll just acquire it instead. And so without further ado, here is the Charizard V Shiny from Champion's Path. This card is super sick, it's very popular, and the best part about it is that it was graded as a 10. It's got 10 on centering, 10 on corners, 10 on surface, and on the edges a 9.5. This thing is a strong 10 and 0.5 away from being a black label. There's part of me that wants to resend it into Beckett to see if I can get that 9.5 bumped up. But then there's another part of me that doesn't want the grade to come back even lower than what it already is. But this is the last thing that we wanted to show, or that I wanted to show rather. So here you guys go. Here is the coup de grace, the last thing that we're going to see. This thing is amazing. I was very fortunate to acquire it, and so I just wanted to share that with you guys, since you've been along with me on pretty much every step of this journey so far. So there you guys go. Alright guys, so thanks so much for watching. I don't think I've talked so long in a video in my life. I mean, my throat's starting to hurt a little bit. But thank you guys so much for watching. That is my Pokemon card collection. Got a little bit of everything in there. Sorry for the long video, but I think it was well worth it. There we go with the PSA 9 grades for both cards. A little disappointed, even though I thought both were going to be 9s. I expected at least one of them to be a 10, mainly that Charizard, but you know, that's just kind of the name of the game. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Please feel free to comment in the video below what your favorite card was out of all of them, or if you had more than one, feel free. I mean, whatever you guys decide, what you liked about the video. I understand it's super long, so please forgive me on that, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you liked my collection. Until next time guys, you guys take it easy, and you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Take care.